So about more than 50% of people that contact me, be it via chat, SMS, WhatsApp messages, phone calls, or even one-on-one, contact to make inquiries on which Peugeot vehicle or which Peugeot engine I should advise them to go for, or to buy a Peugeot model with such engine. Which one would I think will serve them better? This question always comes up. Which one is more for economical, or recommend the one that is more for economical, or I don't want the one that is consumes too much fuel. I want the one that very fuel economic. All those sorts of things. It always comes up. And most times when I hear such things, I always tell such people, for now, just cancel out the fuel consumption or fuel economy thing. Just remove it from the list of what you want first. Let's deal with the other one before we come to that. In other words, don't even put it as a criteria until you own that vehicle, and then you can tell. Because one thing I've realized is, people really don't know much. They only rely on what other people are saying online. Oh, this one consumes too much fuel. This one consumes less fuel. So they just use it as a yardstick of what they want. Only for them probably doing the ownership of that so-called one they believe consumes less fuel. You find out that they probably may not even know that, if they use the other one, that they will even notice the so-called less fuel consumption that they are relying on to purchase that car. For example, you are saying you want one with less fuel consumption, only for you to find out that throughout the week or the months or how long you'll be using the car, you only push the RPM probably close to 5,000, maybe 5 times within 5 months or whatever. That your normal way of driving is just, gradual acceleration to 3,000 RPM, then it comes down again and all that. What I'm trying to say is, when those so-called engines consumes high fuel, the ones that are known for high fuel consumption, when they actually do consume those high fuel, it's now when you start pushing them beyond 4,000, 5,000 to close to even 7,000 RPM. That's when that high fuel consumption comes in. Meaning, even if you have gotten the bigger engine that you are trying to run away from, you may end up not even knowing that, or feeling the so-called high fuel consumption people are talking about, compared to the other one they are telling you that doesn't consume more. This thing was, this message you are seeing on the screen was sent to me by a Peugeot user. He started by using Peugeot 607 V6, and then later on he also got a Peugeot 406 4-cylinder engine. Petrol, both of them are petrol engines. So after a while, he now came to me and said, you know what? I didn't even see the difference. I didn't even see, he said the difference. In as much as I believe I'm not using his exact words. This is not the exact word he said. He was trying to tell me that he didn't even feel that difference. Let me just say it. He didn't feel the difference of what people were saying, that V6 consumes so high, 4-cylinder consumes low. Now, as the owner, as somebody who now owns the two, not just what people are saying, he now owns, and I realize there's not even much difference for you to say, I wouldn't get this one because they said the consumption is too high. Now that I also own the one that everybody claims consumes less, I couldn't even see the difference in fuel consumption. Now you could tell that if you have an option to get only one vehicle, the ideal or wise thing to have done is get that one with at least a bigger engine that will consume almost close to, or if not similar to that one with a smaller engine in fuel consumption, so that eventually if there is a need for you to now push the car hard, in that case, yeah, it's going to consume more than the other. At least you have that option, or you have that advantage over the other. Unlike the other one that have that small engine, he cannot be able to do what the other bigger engine will do when you need it, because it's already limited. That it doesn't even have those options. They are limited for that engine. While this other one have the option of drive it for fuel economy, or drive it for power or for fun. In that case, it may consume a little bit more. What I'm trying to say is this. I know we are talking about Peugeot 406 and Peugeot 607, V6 and 4-cylinder, and you all know that. For those who don't know, these two Peugeot models have not just similar engines, even identicals. Not like every engine in 406 is in 607, but at least every engine in 607 is in 406. Not depending on the model, but at least similar, not exactly identical in all the engines. So, if you Peugeot 406, let's assume let's use just one vehicle for this comparison. From here to Kaduna is about 200 and something kilometers, right? Let's just give it an average of 250 kilometers, depending on your final destination. So, if Peugeot 406 with EW10J4 will consume a fuel of 1,500, giving the speed of probably 130 kilometers per hour. Let's just leave it average. You maintain constant speed of 130 kilometers per hour with manual transmission. A Peugeot 406 V6 with manual transmission as well, using the same speed of 130 kilometers per hour, it's covering the same distance, and both vehicles are in top good condition. Nothing on the engine or on the suspension or anything that will cause drag or malfunction to increase the fuel consumption. So all the two cars are running the way the cars were designed to run, the systems. So you find out that if the EW10 will consume a fuel of 1,500 naira, or let's just say we consume 10 liters, which we are 10 liters for now is like 1,500 naira in Nigeria. That of V6 may consume about 13 or 14 liters, or may not even get up to 13 liters, but at least give it maybe 12. At least you consume additional 2 liters. So, but maximum of 5 liters, minimum of 2 liters, giving some distance and same speed. I'm not telling you that I did some calculation to calculate it to be sure exact on the figures, but I'm telling you, as someone who have owned these V6, I've driven other people's Peugeot car, giving same distance and same same speed with same systems in good conditions. So I'm telling you, the difference is now. This using the same car, not like using something else. Using the same car, I know one will have more weight than the other, but I'm just telling you, using the same car with same average speed. So are you now going to tell me, if you are so mindful of high fuel consumption, when you come up and say, I want a car that doesn't consume too much fuel or do this, blah, 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 I will now go for that of a smaller engine. By the time you use that smaller engine for a long time. I realize that, I mean, seriously, if you 200 and something kilometers with additional 500 naira or maximum of 1,000 naira, you may not even get up to cover that distance if you use that of the bigger engine. How bad is it that you choose not to go for it? I don't know if this is, I'm applying logic on this thing. How bad is it that you choose, okay, let me just go, because I don't want to, I want all the time. Maybe within a year, I'll be able to save how much money in buying fuel than buying VCs. Okay, now calculate that, what's it called, additional 2 to 5 liters. Average of 10 liters, average of 10,000 kilometers or 50,000 kilometers. Let's assume you cover 10,000 kilometers in a year. Let's leave it average because not everybody does cover up to 10,000. So if you do 10,000 kilometer mileage in a year and you spend 1,500 on every, what's it called, 200 kilometers or 250 kilometers, then the VCs will spend about 2,000 naira on the same 250 kilometers. Now do the calculation. I have not done it. I'm just putting it down. What's the difference? How much is that difference? 1 million naira, 500,000, 200,000, 100,000. Just tell me the difference within that 110,000 kilometers you cover in a year. So you realize that. That's what I'm saying. I tell people, forget that one first, because what you are looking at now, you will really understand. If you don't use that car, you will be looking at the consumption will be probably more than you if a 406 with some EW10 or 4-cylinder engine. If you cost 1,500 to do 250 kilometers, maybe the V6 will cost maybe 7,000 naira. You know, you'll be looking at it like that, because of what you've heard or read online. However, it makes sense when somebody that wants to use it for maybe, what's it called? Is it e-hailing? I don't know what they even call it, like all this Uber or stuff like that, you know, do town service. Yeah, it will make more sense then to focus on the one that will consume less, because you are not after profit as much as you can get profit from it. No matter what, you are much after profit. However, there are also some commercial purposes when it comes to cars that the bigger you serve you better. For example, if you are doing interstate, you are traveling, you want to use that vehicle to, like for the 406 or 607, to transporting people or moving goods from one state to another, which will cover more than 200 kilometers, or depending on the distance or within that state or the other, some even up to 1,000 or close to. Trust me, the bigger engine will serve you better. Doesn't matter, because what will not happen, you find out that if you use the smaller engine will die sooner than expected, because you are stressing it beyond what it's meant for. When I'm saying smaller engine, I'm talking about not just the size, I'm talking about the power, including the power. Because I know some will say, what about those 1.6 with turbocharged engine that have up to 200 or more horsepower? So I'm talking about just, you know, generally when you come to small or big. So both either power or the size, that's what I'm talking about. So that bigger engine will serve you better. It will, because the difference is this: the one with bigger power or larger power, it takes just little acceleration to get it going. That's why the consumption, especially on highway, most times becomes almost insignificant between the other. It will look as if two of them are the same. Because once you put it, when that gets to that highest gear, you find out that, for example, if it's V6, 406, you find out that at 120 kilometers or 100 kilometers per hour, all you are doing, you just press the throttle a little bit low. It's as if you are just pressing your leg on the throttle pedal, and you see it maintaining that 120. Unlike if it's EW10 J4 or similar 4-cylinder engine, not naturally aspirated, you find you have to push the throttle a little bit down for it to maintain or keep to that 120, between that 100 to 120. The fuel consumption might still be low or lower than that of VC, just very little or similar. But because the RPM will be now much higher, you are putting more strain on that engine. And when you now use it constantly on a long journey, using it to carry a lot of load and all those things, it will shorten the engine lifespan. In that case, the bigger engine will serve you better on that, because it's meant to be able to carry that kind of load, not just the RPM or how high the engine is, but the load. It has enough torque and everything to be able to pull it without straining the engine. So that's what I'm saying. It's not really. So at the end of the day, you see that it's still the bigger engine always have that advantage. However, if it comes to one certain kind of commercial business with vehicles, there you just move within the city, you carry only one passenger or maximum of 2, 3, that sort of thing. There's no point going for the biggest engine. Or, just look for one of the smaller engine because it's not meant for of course, the bigger engine consumes more inside the city, because where it actually performs better is when you now leave it on a higher gear. So you're not really pushing it. So the torque takes over the whole thing, not just the HP. The HP only comes in when you now start pushing the throttle down and the RPM start shooting up. That's when the horsepower comes in. In that case, the fuel consumption starts going higher, and higher. But at lower RPM, it's mostly the torque that is doing the work. Okay, so I don't know if this makes sense. This is a testimony from somebody who owns this car. It's not from me. This is what somebody said to me. Now he has experienced it. Unlike other people who have not experienced it, they are still relying on what other people are saying. So if you really have not really used any of these cars, and you are coming with, I want the one that consumes the least, there's nothing wrong with that. But don't use it to shy away or walk away from a very good car because it has a V6 engine, because it has EW12 J4 engine. You now go for one probably that has a lot of stress or they be abused because it has a smaller engine. If we are talking about maintenance costs, that's a different thing altogether. That's why I say at least let it be what you are putting up front when you are making such inquiries. Yes, maintenance cost should be one of the things you consider. However, the fuel consumption don't. Unless you are using it for commercial, then you seek advice, depending on the nature of your commercial business you want to use it for. You seek advice, okay, which one will serve you better? So I'm not saying V6, no matter what you do, that V6 consumption is identical to the 4-cylinder. I'm talking about, let's assume you are used the same like EW engine with ES engines, that the fuel consumption are identical. No, they are not. But the difference is significant. You probably may do the whole distance and the fuel gauge, you just move almost the same thing. However, the quantity might be a little bit different inside the tank, the quantity of fuel. But the gauge might still be reporting almost similar place, indicator indicating they are different, or just move a little bit different. Say I've been using this car, so I know. So don't shy away from V6 from what people are telling you. If you drive V6 like a 4-cylinder, it will consume like a 4-cylinder. If you drive it for the power of V6, it will consume like V6. The problem is most people always, when they drive V6, because they know the power is there, they always keep their foot down, push the pedal to the floor, enjoying the fun of it, having good time, enjoying the power that comes from the engine bay produces as the car surges forward. Then later they start complaining. They didn't produce V6 for you to keep your foot down on the floor all the time, unless that's what you actually want. Yeah, the engine will not have issue if you do that. However, if you don't want it to consume fuel, then drive it gently like a 4-cylinder is meant to be run, as a smaller power. Maybe if I'm saying 4-cylinder, it looks like I'm saying all 4 cylinders have consume less fuel. I'm talking about, let's say, the power. Let's use power. It makes more sense. the engine with lesser power and the engine with higher power. It's better that way, because like I said before, some smaller engine sizes even have power close to the bigger engines now because of turbochargers attached. Some people may have other may disagree that even those with lower engine size with higher power may not last like the naturally aspirated bigger ones. Well, that's a different topic, but now we are after fuel consumption. So I hope this makes sense. So go for what you want and worry less about fuel consumption. The difference is not much. I mean, 2 liters difference. How much is it? All right, that's all for this video.